After my business sank, she returned after a year with brains well everyone. I'm 36 years old. My ex-wife Bea is 29 years old. Bea and we were married for only 3 years before everything went downhill. For me, she showed her time, her give, her true colors, and I dated for a year and 4 months before we got married. Soon after I started dating, I told Bea that I spared to start my own businesses, so I worked day and night. I had a part-time job on top of my regular job. I used the money for my day job to pay for rent, bills, and food, while the money for my part-time job went into founding my business. I worked as a sales manager at a retail store, and she seemed very supportive of my business idea. At the beginning of our relationship, she even pushed me to work harder to expand the business hub after we got married. She don't seem interested in the business anymore. She even jokingly told me to focus on the important things beside the business. My business was not going as well as I had hoped, but I stayed determined because it was my dream. And I knew it was possible to make a profit fast toward to first year of our marriage after several meetings and such persuasions. I had a great opportunity when one of my rich friends offered to invest in my business. But and when over the moon celebrating a victory, she pretended to believe in me and constantly pushed me to do things. My business was a small logistics company that I had been starting for a long time, believing that with proper management it could become one of the biggest companies in our state. With the refunding, I bought more delivery bikes and truck to transport goods. With the additional bikes, the business took off. The incoming increased. I also invested some money in marketing and signage, which paid off. However, I noticed a significant change in Bear's mentality shortly after receiving the investment. He started arguing almost every day, and the reason was always money. She had argued because she wanted me to give her money to go shopping, move to bigger apartment, and go on a week-long vacation, all of which were expenses that could be invested in by my business. When opposite the idea she got, MB understood her desire to shopping and even promised to give her money to buy a beautiful Chanel bag that she had been admiring, but she wanted more. She claimed that she was happy about the investment because she believed it would benefit her and was taken attacked by her demands because I knew how much I had struggled with my business and how hard I had worked. I prayed for a financial miracle every day, and when it finally came, I did not expect if I took her shopping, moved a bigger apartment, or want to vacation, it would have been with the profits my business would have been generated in the long run, not with the money I need to invest and grow it. I told her that I had money was not for a person that I needed to be returned with interest to my friend who had invested it. But everything I said fell on deaf cards, and she kept pestering me about it. She started calling me selfish and accused me of trying to keep all the money my friend had given me for myself. When I didn't work to earn it, when her words did not affect me as she expected. She switches to the emotional aspect and would try all night throughout the week. She argued and argued we could not take it anymore. I agreed to take shopping with a budget to bring peace. Then I invested to the rest of the money in my business. I didn't eat for Ibarra because I loved her even when she just showed on sympathy. Yes, I mentioned before with the addition of the bikes. As I mentioned before, with the addition of the bikes and a delivery trucks, the business skyrocketed and we were able to expand to more areas than before it. With the addition of the bikes and delivery trucks, the business story kit, and we were able to expand to more areas than before it even got to the point where I had to quit my main job, and the money I made monthly was enough to pay my part of the rent loans. About 2 months after my business started improving, bills together. Letter from previous relationship claimed that since I was doing well financially, I should take care of this house like a man. She was tired of splitting everything 5 to 50 to 50. Even they made more than twice half monthly. Said first when she mentioned it, I thought it was a joke, but when she refused to contribute to rent and other bills, I realized she was not joking. I tried to explain to her that it was wise. Instead of moving forward, but she offered to listen. She also had to pay back the investment money to my friend. A disgusting interest rate. She mentioned that she had friends whose friends did not earn as much as, but still look care of their wives. Children and families independently. So what? Here open, I was the one paying all the bills at home with the and buying groceries and paying for glass gas every month. I would to be lying off a state going all that even affected my business because his society did nowadays he acted like business his business was that I did not want to be 39 5 job with but time for the rest of my life. I didn't want to that her butter be right there everything I did was to have a good life but never had. But the more I read Bera's demands and explanation, the more I felt like she was not interested in my work at all. I made her because I thought she had her mind focused, and we agreed that we would love to have multiple business together across the country and even around the world. But when it came to growing the only business we had together, that she became a completely different person. She stopped contributing to the house and preferred to spend the money she earned on clothes, shoes, bikes, and anything. She wondered while I took care of the bills for another year and a few months. I tolerated it and tried to grow my business. Sometimes she would take my credit cards to go shopping with her friends. So you can imagine that when I was going through the financial times, my business would take one step forward and three step back. Unfortunately, I could not continue like that because I had to pay back the money with interesting, and I found myself in serious debt problems. I had to sell all my bikes, my personal car, and family heirlooms to pay off the debt in the end. I was left with nothing, not even a second, and good life, but because of my greed, I lost everything. They for harsh word and verbal lashing were not enough. She completely changed. We used to split household chores, but when my business went under a black, I was at home. Apparently not working. She would literally seize every opportunity to rub in my face how she was making money while I was unemployed. She aggressively posted jobs to cover her expenses after going through such a big boss. The business was the last of money. Consequent survival skill was always smiling and tapping her phone. Then she would come home with this prince gift like big sports shoes and clothing. Neither could not afford them. Much big, and she would have to save her save the least for a month. I questioned her about it, and every time I did, she would not turn it around on the remind me letter. I had no right, no question her because I did not have a job and could never buy her those things with her new attitude. Any our intimacy would suffer, and that's exactly what happened. She stopped sleeping in our bedroom because she was. I would try to touch her, so just like that arm. A nightmare in the blink of an eye. I think it was about 2 or 3 months after she started coming home with experience. Things that I found in the umbrella was time being made to me anyone and federal that she had made me because Pen didn't impress her, did not try to beg or convince her in a way. I knew it was coming. I was already tried to everything. I believed that divorcing was the right thing to do, even though I loved her, could not or stay. Made not a woman who moved up. Useless at every opportunity she had, so I signed the paper. She moved out before your divorce was finalized. Shortly after our divorce, I was at home thinking about my life when she messaged me on Facebook. When I opened, it was a photo of her in a bikini, and just with my rich friend. It was the same rich friend who had financed my business, and I could not feel more betrayal at that morning. It all made sense. The expensive and gifts, the perfumes, coming home late with new items. I could not even cry because what she had done already surprised the plan pace of expressing my anguish in tears. I even felt sorry for her. Became my rich friend had a story of using women. I played to cry because I was mentally in a beta dark place. I even moved in with my younger brother because I could not afford rent of my basic need 4 months after Brett left me. I got a job. The salary was not good as my previous job, but I was a motivating start for me. I worked every hard did. These people, she just lazy good for anything, hungry for anything. Don't let anything coming in your own way. Don't try to get distracted. I met with her a couple of months ago. This time her face was full of big bushes. Then when I had little money, I treated her well and spoiled her like a queen, he requested. Disposal, she's just lazy, good for nothing, hungry for anything. Shiny and new as for your business. I am glad you have someone in your life who wholeheartedly believes in your keep focusing on your business. Now it's a baby, don't let anything come in your way and try not to get distracted. I met with her a couple of months ago. This time her face was full of blushes. She told me she regretted divorcing me because even when I had little money, I treated her well and spoiled her like a queen. She regretted leaving me. She said she was suffering physically, mentally, and emotionally at the hands of her new husband. I feel very sorry for her as her husband is a terrible person who physically abused her. Suffering physically, mentally, emotionally at the hands of her new husband. I feel very sorry of her as the husband is a terrible person who physically uses her hand and she can't even report him because he is disgustingly wealthy. She also admitted that she had no job. He did not let her work because he provided her with everything she wanted and that suffocated her. She bitterly complained about his infidelity and how her boat driven girls home every day, not caring about her patience from everything. She said, I don't know how much of it is true. All I can have confirm is what I saw on her body. She looked physically, mentally, and emotionally unwilling. It was evident that she had suffered abuse since the first month of her marriage, but she never called or complained about it until my business came back to life. Why I should not get back with her, and when I saw her begging, I said to her to give me time to think about it. I genuinely look forward to getting my revenge and making her feel the same pain I feel. It quite embracing that she tried to get back with me after treating me as if I were worthless anyway. As it's been a month now, and I can't begin to list all the things she did for me to get back together with her. She then shared explicit photos of my request and we were constantly chatting ever since. I told her that I would think about it. It was almost as if she was handed to me on a silver platter. All I needed was a month. She made it very easy for me. During that month, she did everything. I asked her to do, even getting shocked and cheated. I planted a kiss on her cheek, and she could not stop smiling and greeting me as she headed towards her car that day. I deliberately asked her to send me the explicit photo. Qley needed after everything displayed times call for displayed measures after. I had enough of her explicit photos. I compiled all her charts about how she would divorce her husband and all the horrible things he had done, and blocked her friend and sent him all the photos and a screenshot of our conversation. Then I left him a message saying helping you dodge the bullet, bro. I waited for him to see the message, and as soon as he did, I received a call from Vera. She was crying to breathing heavily over the phone. When she finally could speak, that she told me that her husband had kicked her out of the house and confesses traded everything he bought for her because, according to his words, it had been years and nothing. She had to live with nothing after crying and insisting. She told me that she was coming to my house so we could officially be together. We had planned and took that opportunity to tell her that I was the one who sent everything to her husband and that we could never be together because she did not deserve any love. When she cried even more and pleaded with me not to do this to her, I had already done it. I warned her not to show up at my house or business, or I would have her arrested. After I hung up, she removed her contact, and I can only imagine the anguish she must be going through right now. It was audacious of her to think she could have her cake and eat to thank you for listening to my story. If you were in a similar situation, how would you handle it?